Everything you need to make your home a castle that you've always dreamed of is right within your grasp. All it takes is a little bit of creative ingenuity, a positive outlook, and the determination to tailor-make your home into a functional and comfortable place for your family. On the Suburban Chateau, we will discover all kinds of crafts, gift-making ideas, decorating tips, gardening suggestions for you to try to implement in your little corner of the world. Join us on the Suburban Chateau. Hi everyone, Stephanie Everett here, and today we're going to go back to our gift giving series and we're going to be working on making your own homemade candles. Now today we're going to experiment with making some soy candles. Years ago, for a few years when I was not teaching, I actually had my own candle business, and I had a craft business where I sold candles. And when I wanted to get back into candle making, the first place I went to find supplies was my bulk candle supplier. And this was years and years ago when my kids were just little, so maybe 20 years ago when I made candles. And of course that supplier's out of business. So last year when I wanted to start trying to make candles again, I thought, well, I'm going to look on Amazon and see what a small batch of candle wax and supplies would run me. And I was impressed to find that there were all kinds of kits on Amazon. And the one I went with was called Organics. It was a soy candle kit. It came with the wicks. It came with 100 wicks. It came with a centering device so that you could center the wick. And it came with 10 pounds of soy wax. I had never used soy wax before. The neat thing about soy wax, it has a low melting point of 120, so it's pretty easy to melt it. Now I'm going to be using my old candle pourer from my candle making days, which is sort of a takeoff on a cooker, if you will. My husband sort of made me a little candle pourer. But today we're also going to attempt to microwave the candle wax. So it'll give us another option besides a candle pourer. We're going to make sort of fun candles that you can recycle. When they're done being candles, then they can be a wonderful coffee mug. And I just got these very inexpensively at our local discount store. I love this one. It had some old vintagey type of things. This one says, "You had me at hello." One of my favorite movies, one of my favorite lines. This one has an old-fashioned radio. It says "Rock On." I have some other ones that I found at our local hobby store. Here's from Teddy Roosevelt: "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." Just little inspirational quotes. And what I do is when I see these things go on sale, I pick them up for 60-70% off at the local craft store. And then I've got a great way. I think when I first got these, I was just using them to decorate for 4th of July because I believe that's when they were on sale. But then I was like, these would make great candles. So I am going to make great candles. And this one's especially for a typewriter lover in my life. And it says, "Write your own story," and it has a little typewriter on it. And don't tell my typewriter lover that she's getting a candle. I also have a really good friend. This summer I was in our local TJ Maxx, and I know that she collects. This is a botanicals china, and I know this is what she collects. So hopefully we won't give away her secret as well, but I'm going to make her a candle. And then when she's done, she can use it as a coffee or tea mug. So really excited about sharing with you some candle making techniques today. Now, the very first thing you're going to want to do is to melt that soy base. And what I've done is I've taken it, and you can see it's in a flake form. And I've got about 2 pounds of the soy candle wax. And as I said before, it does melt at a pretty low temperature. So I've got, for me, this is on the lowest setting that I can have my warming device. And I put in about 2 pounds of candle wax. And the neat thing is, you can make all different kinds of scents when you have this big of an amount. This was 10 pounds, and I would say I still have maybe 5 pounds left. I made some last year. I have about 2 pounds in the pot. The scent is the next thing you're going to add, and the ratio that I've read suggested is 1 to 2 ounces per pound of scent. So I have some, this one is a sugar cookie flavor, so we're going to start with that one. And then I'll tell you a little bit about some of the other scents we're going to try later as well. So I'm going to do 2 ounces of the scent to the soy candle. So it's a 1 ounce to 1 pound ratio, which is the lower end of what they recommend for soy scenting. And I'm just going to add that in. And then, of course, we've got our wax base, we've got our scent, and then the other beautiful thing everyone loves about candles is color. And so for this, I am going to use just a bit of, this is a chipped wax. Again, I found on Amazon, a couple bucks. And it's just going to color our wax just a little bit. This is a brown color because I thought sugar cookies going to look great if it's like a brown candle. And we're going to let that all melt together. And then let me talk a little bit about how we center our wicks to get them started. One thing you can do, and this works very well, except it's a little time consuming. You can put a little bit of wax in your container and then just get your wick to set right in the center. So let me show you how to do that. We've got everything over here. I'm going to pour just a teensy bit of wax into my cup, enough to cover the bottom a little bit. And the reason this is time consuming is because you have to wait for this to set, for the wick to stand in the middle. And then I have to kind of convince it to stay right in the middle. So this is a lot of times what I would do when I was making candles. Just get it started and get that wick to stand in the middle. And it's a little tricky. And if you can get it to stay, then it's centered. And I kind of find that a little bit time consuming and takes a little bit of patience. So I really like the idea here with the candle kit that they had the centering device. Now this is great when your cup is small enough to have this set right in the middle. I noticed with these bigger containers that my centering device was falling right in. It was too small for some of these other mugs, which are kind of giant, or have that wide mouth on them. So my other suggestion is to use a little double-sided tape. And so that's what I did for these bigger ones. Well, this is working pretty well here in the middle. It's just going to take a little extra time. And just to get things started, I cut just a little bit of this is a double-sided mounting tape. And I cut it into little squares. So it just goes right on the bottom of your wick. And take the little plastic protective side off. Going to mount that right to the bottom of one of my wicks. And place it in the center of one of these wider mouths. So the little centering device is awesome if you have a tinier container to put these in. What I love so much about this idea is the containers themselves, like hardly an investment at all. The wax kit was $35. I just looked it up on Amazon. It's one of their best sellers. And it comes, when I said with the 10 pounds, it's called Organics. If you're looking on Amazon, it was $34.99 on Amazon today. And so everything's all melted, ready to go. And I'm going to pour my first one. This one is awesome. It's a camera motif. It says, "Oh, snap." So I'll have to think of one of my trendy friends who loves photography for this one. And now that we've got that wick centered, we get that poured. And we're all set. And it's still centered. It's still holding back down there. And it just may take a little extra effort to keep it right in the center as it's drying, and I'll work on that as well. Sometimes one thing I found with candle making over the years, and I did make quite a few candles, it's going to be fine, is that sometimes as they're cooling, candles can form a little pit or a sinkhole. So one thing I like to do when I'm making a specific flavor is unplug it for a little while, let them all set up, and then if I notice any sinkhole or if any of the candles need a topping off, then it's pretty easy for me to just put, if it looks like it's not quite filled as much as I want to. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, stay. That is one of the hardest things about candle making. I'm going to try this next one for my friend. And what I think I'm going to do, even though I've got it all set in the center, I am also going to do this double stick tape. That's working really well for me. And this one's working well too. It's just not setting. Oh no. Oh snap. There we go. Get him back to center. And it's just something you have to kind of keep your eye on. One time when I was making candles, and I don't have this anymore, my husband built me a jig so I could put a candle canning lid over this, and then the wick came up through the center, and it was very effective. It kept everything going really, really working well. But as I say, I'm just back to candle making now. So let me pour a few more, and we'll take a look at them when they're all done and set. So we got a little creative after I poured the wax on these ones, and my husband heard me talking about the jig he made years ago when I was a candle maker, and he made me a new jig. This is just a right in the center of a ball jar, and I held it up. It was still a little too big for these big mugs, so we used a couple pencils. It helped me keep the wick right in the center while the candle is curing. So we'll take one last look at these when they're all finished, and maybe we'll try a different scent as well. We'll top off right now, and then we're going to try our next batch. Microwavable. It's kind of cool. So just a little top off. That way, if there's any air bubbles, we'll fill those up. Yep, that's going down in a little air bubble. It won't take any time at all for that to set up. We're going to I made 3 complete candles here. I'm going to set up a 4th one that I started. That'll cover any little pockets. Yeah, that you can just see. Oh, I should show you that. You can just see that one had... See the little hole that had developed there, and now that's filling up with wax. So it's just like a little issue with the drying, but that one's fine. Okay, well, now we're going to try the second technique, and that's the microwavable technique. And my directions read that we should put it on high for 5 minutes. I have put 2 pounds, same amount that I did with the first batch. In this batch, we're going to melt it, then we're going to add our scent and our coloration. And I'm just using a microwave safe dish. This is my Pioneer Woman mixing bowl, which is microwave safe, and we're going to give it a whirl on this. I have never done this before, so this will be a new thing to add to our candle making technique. The only thing I'm a little worried about it is that I do like to save and top off, so we might have to wait till it all cools down and reheat it to top off the candles for this one. This time we're going to do a different scent. We're going to try our own candle company, Apple Pie. I'm super excited about this because I told you before, I love those candles from our own candle company. So here we go into the microwave. Alrighty, here we go. We have our microwavable container going into the microwave. 5 minutes, and we'll see how well the soy melts. Wow, the microwave method worked awesome, and 5 minutes was just the perfect time to melt the soy wax. So next I'm putting in a couple of flakes of my red coloration, and hopeful that this is a really good match and gives a nice even coloring, and it's melting. So we'll give it a second to kind of get all through the wax. I think for the home candle maker, this would be a great way to go with the microwave. The only thing I would say is just a bit messier than if you have a dedicated candle maker. It's definitely less messy than a double boiler. So I would say 3 options that you have. We're waiting for our wax, red wax to melt here. I might want to throw this back into the microwave for a second. We'll see. It's being a little bit funky. But just a few flakes should color the whole batch here. I'll keep stirring it and we'll see what we come up with. And so the three methods are a dedicated candle cooker, which is what I have. You could use a double boiler and use a water bath, or you could go with the microwave method. And I honestly think that the microwave method for the occasional candle maker, if you buy a kit with 10 pounds of candle wax, that'd be the way to go for you. I ran into a little hiccup with the microwavable method, and I had to heat up the wax a little bit higher temperature than I was expecting because my wax dyes did not melt that time. So it was really, I had to just heat it up a little bit extra just to get the consistency I want. I added in my apple pie flavoring. Let me just share with you what it looks like real quickly. I was able to get my microwavable wax hot enough to melt the coloring agent. And then I added in my apple pie candle wax, and we're going to pour a couple more candles, and at least you have a couple of ideas. The neat thing about this is it's a gift that keeps on giving. So when everybody's done with the candle, then you have a coffee mug, and it's recyclable. It's not like you're throwing away a container. So I really like that idea, and it's a fun craft to try. And we'll take a minute here and pour a few more candles. Well, to finish up our candle project, I'm going to show you just how I trim the wicks. I just take ordinary scissors, trim that wick up about an inch, half inch from the top of the wax, and then they're ready to go. They're all set up and ready to enjoy for your gift. So I hope you enjoyed our little candle making fun, and consider maybe trying this for a Christmas gift or a gift for someone else.